Hey, if you're a believer, you're faith-based, and you want a better marriage, I want you to tune in. This month, I'm focusing on making marriages work. I just got off radio and got so many calls asking, how do we make marriage work better? So we know that there are couples who've been married for years, but it doesn't mean that their marriage has been happy or one you want to emulate. Or maybe that person is you. You're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, but it didn't feel good. All right, saints, I want to help you to develop a better marriage. All right, so there's a psychologist by the name of Dr. Carol Rusbelt, all right? And she studied not what keeps couples married, but what keeps couples happily married. And in investigating the three things that she found that we should all have in our marriages, I found some things that the church does that doesn't help our marriages. And if we replace it with these three things, if we do faith and works, you're going to find yourself enjoying a better relationship or marriage if you choose to implement these two things. And that's the cool thing, is that God gives us autonomy, meaning freedom of choice. Like, if you want to have a bad marriage or a bad relationship, don't do these things. Don't listen to the research of someone who's dedicated her life to studying it. Her name is Dr. Carol Rusbelt. If you want to look her up, Rusbelt. All right, Dr. Carol Rusbelt, right? And if you do want to do it, grab your partner, watch this video, share it, right? And let's dive in. All right. So one of the things that I've noticed is that couples focus too much on the old word in marriage: obligation. You're obligated to be with me. You said in front of the pastor, till death do us part, but you did not ever think about the three things that I'm going to tell you that actually makes the marriage actually feel good and be good and made in God's likeness. All right, so let's tune in. I'm going to go to my notes. All right, number one. All right. She says we should focus on marital satisfaction and building warmth versus just obligation, and the word covenant. Yes, our marriage is under covenant, but that covenant has to feel like God. It can't be something that feels like obligation. Who wants to be in a marriage where you suffer versus grow? So here's the common mistake. She says too many couples focus on obligation or the word covenant versus making it a good thing that's satisfying for both partners. The mindset can lead to resentment and believing that marriage is something that you're obligated to do, or the ball and chain, or something that you have to do. And this is true for both husband and wives, versus something that's a value add to your life. How many of you would like your marriage to be a value add? I know you would, right? How many of you like a value add, right? So here's the shift. Ask your partner, how can I make you feel better today? How can I make you feel more valued? How can I make our marriage, our relationship more satisfying for you to be in? What can I do, right, to do that? And sample dialogue could be, hey, I've been thinking about how we can bring more joy to our marriage. Not just, I want us to be more than just married. I want us to be truly happy together. Right. And the other spouse can say, I love that. How about we plan a weekend outing, doing one thing we each like, or a date night that we have consistent, so that we can enjoy each other's company without stress and get some feels. Right. Let's let our relationship and marriage feel good. Let's not it be just about paying bills and the kids and this and that. Let's build up our emotional bank account. Right. It says in 1 Corinthians 16:14, let all that you do be done in love, y'all. All right. And they're not a sponsor, but if y'all wondering about our watch, Tally and Twine, y'all, black owned watch company. Check out Tally and Twine. All right. People always ask me, and I'm looking at the video. All right. Anyway, so there's no sponsor. They're not paying me. You like a nice watch, go to Tally and Twine. All right. Number two. All right. Dr. Rusbelt says we should be focusing on investment size. She says that our relationship should look like our finances. If it's going to be emotionally rich, how much did you invest in making your relationship feel good? So this is that emotional bank account I was talking about. So couples commonly make the mistake that they don't respond to their partner's bid for attention. A bid for attention is a desire for you to pay attention to me. So let's take a walk. Let's talk. Let's build wealth together. Let's watch a game together. Let's go on a date. Let's make love. It could be anything a bid for attention. What happens is we're not aware If we're not doing marriage as a verb and we're just going through the motions, we're just coming home and turning on the internet and ignoring one another and doing the roommate thing, we're not building up our emotional bank account. Our relationship can go on 10, 11, 12 years, but we won't feel it, right? So she says, make a habit of responding to each other's bids for attention by building up investments in one another. All right. So make it a practice to acknowledge your partner's bids. What is your partner asking you for on a regular basis? I want you to write it down right now. Even text them and ask, hey, babe, I've heard you ask me about these things. Or do you want these things? Would these things actually make you feel more valued in the relationship? Right. So it could be like, hey, babe, can we take a walk after work and talk? Okay. Instead of saying, no, I don't walk. I don't feel like it. Okay. This is your husband, your wife. Why wouldn't you take a walk with them or at least do something to respond to their need for quality time? Okay. We can take a walk and talk. What's on your mind? Hey, I just wanted to check in with you. I haven't talked to you in a while. I know we've been busy. I missed you this morning. You were gone. I wanted to find out how your day went. Okay, babe, I appreciate you asking me. I was a little stressed with work and the kids, but I feel better now, just feeling seen and heard, and that you asked. Right? We're modeling Matthew 6:21 right there. It says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. That is called responding to a bid of attention. And if you can do that regularly, isn't that what we signed up for? To pay attention to one another inside of the marriage. We didn't sign up for you to ignore me. It feels worse being in a marriage or a relationship for you to ignore me. So if I'm single, I know you're not going to pay attention to, because I don't have anyone to date, or I know what we're doing is casual. You might be here, you might not. I'm not depending on you. But if we're in a whole relationship, and definitely we're in a whole marriage, I definitely need you to pay attention to how I'm feeling and what I want to do in this relationship and do it evenly. And number 3, ask yourself, are you being the best spouse for your spouse? Right? Do you understand their needs, and do they understand yours? So a common mistake is many couples think that they know what their partner needs without asking, or you think that your partner wants what you want. Right? Like I want my wife to watch this thing in Amazon Prime called AD. All right. I'm all into series. I don't know how I missed it when it came out. It was advertised at our church. Shout out to you, Bishop Bronner at Word of Faith Family Cathedral. I mean, he had the guy come and talk about the movie, and I never watched it, but now I'm all in, and I want her to watch it with me. It's no way she knew I wanted that. And she wants me to try these new vitamins that's supposed to extend our life, and she wants to be able to talk about us living a long time. How in the world could either one of us guess that that is our partner's need right now unless we ask? So I'm taking these vitamins, y'all, and she is watching this series with me on AD and listen to me bore her, because I'm a minister, y'all, about what in there was correct and what in there was incorrect and what's inspired me. So anyway, so listen. So what I want you to do is I want you to make a habit of asking your spouse regularly, what do they need from you? And then show up in that way. It's not enough to ask, but you actually have to behave in a way that meets their needs. So it might look like, hey, I've been thinking, what can we do this week to make your day easier, or bring you more peace, or actually be the best spouse for you? Like, what can I do that's ideal for you, right? And your husband or wife might say, hey, thanks, for asking. Honestly, it would mean a lot if we could carve out some time and go over our finances, right? I really want to build legacy together. And we don't even know how much each other makes, how much debt we have, because I really want to talk about some investment opportunities, right? The best spouse for me is someone who wants to talk wealth building, wants to talk legacy, right? And then all right, hey, babe, that sounds wonderful. Or I'll be honest, that might sound boring to me, but so here's the question you have to ask yourself. I could see another husband or wife coming into the scenario and seeing this as a reasonable request. Am I being the best spouse for my spouse right now? Or am I just saying, I don't want to go over the finances right now. I don't want to do that. It's short category. I don't want to talk about it. All right. So if we're asking ourselves if we're the best spouse for our spouse, we can avoid divorce. Right? Because we're actually comparing ourselves to other people and coming out in the positive. And you need to talk about finances anyway. God wants us to be fruitful and multiply. Right? It says in Ephesians 5:25, husband, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Right? And that applies to wives as well. All right? So listen, y'all get it? I'm gonna recap it. So we can have better marriages if we don't just focus on obligation and the word covenant, but we actually live out covenant so it doesn't feel like an obligation. You mean to tell me you don't think God wants you to be satisfied inside of your marriage? You telling me you don't think God wants you to actively work on your marriage and actually administrate it by paying attention to one another on a regular things, small things often? Come on now. And you telling me that you don't think that God wants your spouse to be your rib, to be your helpmeet, to be able, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and gains favor in the Lord. That's two-way benefit. When you get married, you find a good wife, meaning she's good for you. And because you're good for me, I gain favor in the Lord as your husband. That's a win-win. Right? Listen, we know what's going on in the kingdom. We just needed some practical application from the research to live it out. Listen, if you want, they say, I like this, share it with your partner, share it with your husband, your wife, your fiance. Talk about it in the friend chat and say, hey, let's do these things. And if you want to become part of a community where we're building better marriages, I want you to check out betterhusbandbetterwife.com, where we do marriage enrichment along community, and I can teach you personally how to have a better marriage based on the research, y'all. All right, I love y'all. Take care. Share this with your spouse and send me an email. I want to know how it worked. Take care. God bless.